What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review of Boomerang Season 2, Episode 7. And so this episode is all about David and his spiritual journey. We sort of touched on it earlier on in the season, and it's funny because myself and El Teddy 27, shouts out to El Teddy who reviews the show also, we were having this conversation literally yesterday about we don't think David's story is complete, and there's more to it. We got to dig deeper. And so this episode was all about David. So we start this episode off. He's fasting, and he's fasting because he's conflicted on some things, and he's fasting so that he can hear the Lord. And people fast for different reasons. Okay. Now, what I found interesting in that moment was that his two quote unquote best friends, not only were they not knowledgeable of the whole fasting process, but it's like they act like they never heard of it before. And even with David, and I kind of feel like David probably has fasted before. I don't know, but it just again goes to show how disconnected they are when it comes to David and his spirituality. So they are eating, they are smoking weed, they are drinking like right in his face, and they're just like, man, are you serious right now? Like, come on now, don't you want to eat? He's like, the ladies are coming over. They're doing some sort of taste test on chicken, and he was like, well, the ladies will be over here later on. You sure you don't want to taste test? You don't want to test this chicken or whatever? And he was like, no, I'm good. I'm all right. And so they end up he's getting ready to get up to leave. He's drinking water, and they asked him about Naomi, his girlfriend, and he said, well, they were like, well, Nate, so Naomi's cool with these, foodless dinner dates. And he was like, actually, Naomi is fasting with me, which once again just goes to show how, how sort of connected they were about the situation. So he gets up to leave, and he ends up passing out, and then he floats into this dream world, where it's like he goes through these different tiers of awakening until he gets to God. So we start off with a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger. Now, I never watched the Power Rangers, so I don't know if this was the real character or not. It's the Black Ranger, and he was black, and he was like, this is one of my best friends. Not best friends, I'm sorry. He was my favorite growing up. He was like my hero. So I don't know if that was like symbolic or if that really was the dude. I don't know. Y'all are gonna know, but I don't know. And so he leads him on to begin his journey. And he comes across this large mound of Jordans. Let me be clear. A lot of the symbolism here, I didn't get it. I'm just going to be clear. I didn't get it. So I didn't get the whole mountain of Jordans. Like, are they trying to say he's worshiping shoes? I don't know. I didn't get it. Whatever. Then he comes across Ari is preaching about, the Lord and being committed to the Lord. And of course he's immediately confused because he was like, now I know Ari ain't up there preaching about nothing. Then he moves into sort of like a heavenly strip club, I guess, for lack of any better description. And Bryson was over the he was over the strip club, honey, and they end up having a conversation in reference to. So Bryson is like, "What do you see?" And he was like, "I see naked women, And he said, dig deeper. You have to dig deeper. What do you see?" And so he was like, "Okay, I see mothers, I see daughters, I see." He said, dig deeper. And he said, maybe you need to take a walk in their shoes. So next thing you know, he got on some heels, honey. So then he looks around and he's like, okay, I see strength. I see courage. I see independence, And I don't know, again, a lot of this stuff went over my head. I ain't going to front y'all. But I guess this is maybe him connecting to being judgmental of people. Of course, definitely we know T is past and everything. So next thing you know, he moves to the next level, which is he has to go to confession with Tia. And he starts confessing little stuff. Now, I can admit, when I used to go to confession when I was younger, and I'd be like, I don't have nothing to confess. And I'd be literally doing just what he did, trying to come up with stuff. I turned the TV on after my mama told me I couldn't. You know, like, you're coming up with stuff. She was like, I don't want that. Dig deeper. Dig deeper. And he finally ends up letting it all out. And honey, he talks about everything that he has had a problem with his friends. Talking about, you know, the awkwardness between, you know, Bryson and Simone, just because Simone couldn't, you know, practice some self-control, and talking about telling Tia that he really hated the song that she came out with, and, you know, Ari, like, he went through the whole list of everything, that all the gripes, the stuff he's probably been keeping in, and then he really let it off, like, about the fact that they just don't respect who he is and respect his journey. He said he really hates the fact that they blamed him for him and Crystal's marriage crumbling, even though, you know, like, it wasn't all on him. And he said, but he feels like they look at him like it's his fault. So he really, oh honey, he let it out. But it was probably what he needed to say all along. So then the next level is they're at dinner, and Simone is leading the dinner, and she's talking about fake friends, you know. So it comes around to him about him being fake. She was like, yeah, we heard everything you said about us in the confessional. He was like, oh, okay, well, you heard that? She was like, yeah, we heard it. And what ended up happening was, she basically said, well, if you really want to be my friend, you really want to be down with us, you know, you got to show your loyalty, then you got to eat. And he was like, well, you know, I'm on this spiritual cleanse, like, you know, I'm fasting right now. She was like, oh, well, in order to prove you want to prove your loyalty to us, you want to prove, you know, how deep, you know, our friendship, got tongue-tied, you know, you need to eat this food, and he was sort of stuck between staying true to his convictions or giving into the peer pressure of the group, which is led by Simone. And it is, you know, obviously that symbolism was very obvious to me, you know, of what the you know, where the group, how the group sort of bullies him, for lack of a better word, and puts him in a situation where he has to choose between his spirituality or being their friend, which kind of comes back to what Naomi was telling him last week, when they were at the or the week before last, when they were at the house, about how, you know, his friends just don't respect who he is and respect his spiritual journey. And so he ends up waking up, and of course everybody is standing over him like, are you all right? Are you okay? Are you all right? And he comes to, and, you know, of course they make a couple of little jabs at him like they always do, and then they go about their business. Next thing you know, he ends up walking off. He said, I got my answer. I know what I need to do. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped the whole important part. Lord Jesus, let me rewind. He finally ends up having a conversation with God. And guess who God is? Crystal. And so she tells him, like, look, first of all, you keep coming to me with these petty problems. Like, contrary to popular belief, I do have more to do than to worry about every little step you make, every little move you make. Like, in the grand scheme of things, you know what you need to do. You already know the answer to what you're seeking from me. You just want an excuse to do it. You already know what you need to do. You already know what the decision is. You just got to be man enough to make it. You just got to put some balls on it and make the decision you need to make. Now, she didn't say the part about balls. I said the part about balls. You know, but she sort of tells him, she has him look in the mirror, and she has him dressed up like, you know, his normal, with the plaid shirt on and his Vans or whatever. And then she has him dressed up like, you know, like he on his way to the club or whatever. It was still an ugly outfit, but a club outfit nonetheless. And he was like, well, this isn't fair. She was like, yeah, it is. And you know what you need to do. So, now we get to the part where he wakes up. And he's like, yeah, I know what I need to do. I absolutely know what I need to do. And she puts, he's standing there and he's like, I know what I need to do. And earlier in the episode, he was talking about maybe getting serious with Naomi. And of course, they were like, yo, you do this all the time. You always take things, you go too fast, you move too serious. And so just as he's getting ready to wake up, she tells him, you know what you need to do is deep within. And she pats his pocket. And there's a box in the pocket. So when he wakes up, he says, I know what I need to do. I know what I need to do. And he goes and he pats the pocket of his shirt. And there was a ring box in there, and there was a ring. And then, so you know, he was on his way to go propose to Naomi. So that was, now they called this like a 1 hour finale. I don't really think it was a 1 hour finale so much as they just played the last 2 episodes of the season back to back. But whatever. So that was episode 7. So I'm gonna bring you episode 8. And then that's it. Now, personally, I feel like they should have drug it out. But, ain't nobody asking me nothing, child. They ain't asking me nothing. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments. Peace.